Hello, it's Morea Malott at SavvyParentingSupport.com with Gentle Sleep Learning, Gentle Discipline, and Gentle Potty Learning. Today we're just going to talk about sleep. We can call this Mondays with Morea because I'm going to start doing videos on Mondays. Let's talk about why people hire me and why I might refer some families out to other providers, or why I sometimes let families know that sleep consultant is not the best option for them at that moment. So let's talk about good reasons first. And when you have any questions, go ahead and put them. I'll be gone by the time most people see this, so go ahead and put your questions in the comments and I'll get to them afterward. So good reasons for hiring a sleep consultant. Number one, you can't function. You are feeling mentally unwell or very physically unwell. That's probably the best reason. So you're really not sleeping. Maybe it takes a really long time to get your baby to sleep at night, or toddler. Maybe your baby wakes up many, many times per night. Two, you are unable to perform at work. So your family in general might suffer, your security might suffer because work is not going well, because you're not sleeping well enough to function. That might be one or both parents. Three, you might have anxiety about sleep safety, whether you're doing what you need to do correctly for sleep for your baby, or anxiety about whether your baby is getting enough sleep or whether you're getting enough sleep, and that anxiety has kind of filled your life. Sometimes there's anxiety is actually having disturbed sleep or a sleep disorder. So those things are definitely something that you can talk with your medical naturopathic care providers, but also with a sleep coach about. Four, your care providers, the doctors, chiropractors, whoever's in your life that helps you with your health and well-being, they've let you know that they really think you really need to get more sleep. So that's a really good reason. You feel your driving is impaired. So this is the biggest one that I get from families, is they knew they needed to hire somebody when they realized they were going to fall asleep while they were driving, and sometimes on the way to work, sometimes on the way back from work, sometimes just to the grocery store, sometimes with a child. So driving, not feeling like you're well enough to drive is huge. I think my internet's going out in and out a little bit here. I'm traveling. Hoping you can see this. And then the last one would be you've started to feel kind of a deep resentment toward your baby, toward your toddler, for waking you up all of the time every night, or for prolonging that nighttime getting to bed, so that you're feeling like you're not getting that break when you needed a break, or you're being woken up so many times and you're just feeling resentment towards your little one, and it's kind of hurting that relationship a little bit. That would be a huge reason to hire a sleep professional, sleep consultant, so that you can really, feel like you're able to parent well and be connected in all of the other ways, not just being present for everything your child needs and wants during the sleepy time. So there's some not so good reasons why I might refer families out and not accept them into my sleep practice, or why I might just provide some information instead. And some reasons why I might not take a client into my sleep practice, because I want to make sure that everybody who comes into my sleep practice has 100% stellar results, meaning that everybody is there for the right reasons and gonna work on the plan that we co-create together, really put the work in, and that it's really gonna work for that baby at that age. So some not so great reasons to hire a sleep consultant might be something like, my baby slept really great when they were a newborn, and then we had a 4-month sleep regression, and now we're waking up a couple times a night, and I want my 5-month-old, 6-month-old, 7-month-old baby to sleep through the night. and that's why I need a sleep consultant. So it's true that you might hire some sleep consultants, and especially with kind of more of the cry it out methods or a controlled crying methods where it's a short period of days and you're not present in the room. And you sort of get through all of that crying. Some of those babies do learn to sleep through the night. Now, it's not going to be all of the time. But if you're really looking for a more of a gentle method to be, coming from a gentle method that's not sleep training, then you're probably not going to get sleep through the night, especially with a breastfed baby. You probably won't get that right away, even with a lot of work for younger babies. It's because they need to eat during the night, and they do have some sleep associations, and many factors, but mostly just that they have short sleep cycles. And so unless you do kind of a cry it out or controlled crying method where you're totally always away, then you're probably not going to get that sleep through the night. So if you have to get that, if you're feeling like that's your goal is to get that sleep through the night, you might want to hire somebody who is well versed in something like a controlled crying method. But babies really don't sleep through the night unless we make a lot of changes gradually. And so feeling like you need to get back to what your newborn slept like is probably not going to happen. Newborns are just really, really sleepy. And the 4-month sleep regression is really more of an opening to the world instead of a regression. And so we're going to only progress in different ways of becoming more cognizant of the world from there. So wanting to go back to the way that your child slept as a newborn is probably not the best reason to hire a sleep consultant. But there are many good reasons that we just talked about. One not really great reason is you have a young baby, like 3 months or younger, who is really crying a lot, is very fussy, maybe what we might call colicky, and you need it to end and you need a break. And I've worked with many families like this, both in the postpartum doula capacity and as a sleep consultant. But what I will tell you is at this point in my career, what I do is I refer families with babies under 3 months who just need a break, which you deserve to have, to a postpartum doula. And if you are having trouble finding one, contact me. I will help you find a postpartum doula who can really help you through the night. And I do train postpartum doulas in my sleep method as well. So whether I have trained one near you or not, it may or may not be true, but I can still tap into my networks and find someone to relieve you. But what happens with sleep consulting is that the parent really needs to be able to be the one to understand how sleep works and to put in the work and make the changes. And when you are so sleep deprived, when you have a new baby who's crying a lot of the time and you just need that break, working gradually on sleep skills, which is what most sleep consulting is probably not what you need at that moment. And the things that create short-term or long-lasting sleep changes for babies are generally not going to happen for a really little baby, no matter what you do. So what you need is someone to help you, someone who's well versed in sleep and who knows how to care for babies who you can really trust. Okay, so really get that postpartum doula as a help for a really young baby, and then kind of get that sleep, and then work with them or work with a sleep consultant to work towards sleep skills from there. 3 of not so good reasons to hire a sleep consultant would be something like, well, my friend's baby sleeps through the night, so my baby should sleep through the night. Well, all babies are different. All babies have different personalities. That friend's baby might have gotten sleepy genes, as I like to call them. Some babies, no matter what you do, no matter how they're raised, no matter what they're eating, they're just conked out. They're just sleepy babies. And that's awesome for them. And it's just not true for most families, especially not true for most breastfeeding families. So that might be their genes, that might be a way that they started the first couple months where there weren't a lot of sleep associations, like oral sleep associations or movement sleep associations. Maybe they did things a little bit differently in the beginning, or maybe it's just that baby, maybe they just got lucky. But unless you're really, feeling unwell, feeling like you really need help, feeling like you really have to have that help, because somebody else's baby sleeps through the night is not really a great reason to hire a sleep consultant. Mostly because whenever we spend money on something, because I people pay me money for what I do, and our money, our hard-earned money, is really valuable to us. And when we're going to spend money on something, the way that we really get the most out of it is if we really need it. If we're really, if we have a high need or are really passionate about something. And so you have to really feel that high need in order to get the most out of the money that you spend on a sleep consultant. So you have to be really motivated. So my friend's baby sleeps through the night, so mine probably should too, is not going to be the kind of motivating that you need to really see the work that you do with a sleep consultant pay off. So let's see, where are we? Number 4 of not so great reasons to hire a sleep consultant. We need to get our baby out of our bed because people say it's bad for our marriage or that it might make our child clingy. So let's say you have an older baby or a toddler and they're in your bed and you kind of didn't mean to do that, but then you were breastfeeding and it's kind of feels impossible to breastfeed all throughout the night when your baby's in another room or in another bed and you didn't mean to start bed sharing, and then suddenly you are bed sharing, and now you've been bed sharing for a long time and people are starting to kind of say things to you about it, because other people say bed sharing is not good for your family is probably not a great reason to have to hire a sleep consultant to get your baby out of your bed or toddler out of your bed. It really should be about you. How is it working for your family? If your baby's sleeping in your bed with you or your toddler's sleeping in your bed with you and you feel like you're really informed about how to do that more safely and everything is going well, and you're not waking up a zillion times a night, or you are, but you're not really fully waking up and the baby finds the breast and you pretty much sleep through it. Many families have that experience, and that's awesome. Just leave it alone. You don't need a sleep consultant unless you really feel like there's a challenge that you need to overcome. But bed sharing is not inherently bad for marriages, and it certainly does not make children clingy specifically. I have many, many, many examples in my work and in my personal life of that. Have a lot of not clingy bed sharers in my life. Very independent kiddos. What else? So another not so great reason to hire a sleep consultant would be you believe your baby should be sleeping through the night with no wakes. And you really just think that that's what babies are supposed to do. So you feel you should hire a sleep consultant, and that will get your baby sleeping through the night. It's not that your baby won't ever sleep through the night, but I'm here to tell you that most children do not sleep through the night every night. Most breastfed babies don't sleep through the night for a long time, have 1 or 2 wakes, even if they're good sleepers. Toddlers sometimes wake up 1 time per night, even after they're weaned, just to kind of check in with you, see who's around. And then we get to kids who are 5 or 6 years old, and even if they've now been sleeping through the night for a couple of years, then they start going through these, so there's some bad dreams, there's many things that they're processing with starting school, etc., and we start kind of getting up once in the middle of the night, some nights. So focusing on needing a sleep consultant because you want and you have to have sleep through the night is probably going to be a difficult goal to achieve. But kind of leaving it at 1 wake per night is probably what you're going to get some of the time, even if you hire a sleep consultant. So then again, another reason maybe not to spend the money. So last one, for not so good reasons to hire a sleep consultant, would be my friend hired a sleep coach, so doesn't everybody need a sleep coach? And isn't that the only way to help babies sleep? So by the time your child, even if they're bed sharing and nursing all night long, by the time your child is 2 or 2.5, sleep is probably going to be a whole lot better. So some people call that the wait it out. Not that I'm suggesting people wait it out if they're really feeling unwell, feeling totally sleep deprived, all of those things that I said in the first part of this video. Definitely don't wait it out. But if everything seems fine and it's just that it looks like there's multiple wakings per night, or there's one waking per night, hiring a sleep coach just because somebody else hired a sleep coach doesn't mean that that's right for you. If everything is going well, then what's it called? If it isn't broken, don't fix it. And I really, truly believe that in my practice. So sometimes I'll I'll come and meet someone and I'll explain my practice to them, and they'll say, well, people don't really need sleep coaches. I mean, my baby wakes up 12 times a night and I don't even notice. I mean, she just finds the boob and then I don't even notice. And everything's fine. She seems to sleep great and I sleep great and we're all fine. And I'll say, that's awesome. It's not most people's experience, but I definitely have a lot of people in my life who have that experience, and that's one of those, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. That's what's normal and good and awesome for that family. So again, just going to go right back over, back to some good reasons for hiring a sleep coach. If you can't function, if you're feeling mentally unwell, if you're unable to perform at work, if you're having anxiety about sleep safety, or if you're having anxiety about how your child is sleeping, if they're sleeping well enough, or whether or not they might have sleep problems, that's good to talk to a sleep consultant about, or even get education from a sleep consultant about. Or that your care providers that take care of you as an adult are telling you really need more rest. That's another reason. If you feel your driving is impaired, especially when there's kids in the car, but just in general, you think you might fall asleep while you're driving. Been there, done that. Not good. Or you have started to feel a deep resentment toward your child for waking up so many times, or for not going to bed right away because you really need to be done at a certain time that day, because maybe you've been with the kid all day, or maybe you've been working and then with your child, and you just really need those beginnings of the nights or all the way through the night to be better, and you're developing some resentment about that. Okay, so that's just a little bit of a recap of the first part. And I would just absolutely love to say that if I'm the right sleep consultant for you, you probably know by now. I provide education for families who are expecting or who have babies 0 to 3 months old. Breastfeeding and sleep education that helps point you toward good sleep skills in the future. And then for babies, especially 6 months and over, we can work on some bunch of variations of gradual sleep plans that we co-create together that can help families with individually. And I have some sleep programs on my website at savvyparentingsupport.com. I also have gentle discipline programs and consulting there, and potty learning programs and consulting as well. So I'm here if you need me, and my email is Moorea, Moorea, at savvyparentingsupport.com. And if you have any questions about this, put them in the comments and I'll get to them really soon. Thanks.